Hello everyone, welcome to More Shapes. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to create a handshaking animation in the After Effects. If you want the design file, you can get it from a Pattern account. The link is in the description below. That's it. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here is the final design of the handshaking visual. I have meticulously layered each part of the hand in order to position the holding hand. Let me show you the layering, then we will jump into the After Effects for the animation. Let's hide all the layers and visible only the left hand layers. So these are the 4 layers for the left hand. As you can see, I have layered the upper and the lower thumb separately because we will do a little movement for the thumb finger. I have designed this thumb based on the joint circle. Select the upper thumb, press R to select the rotation tool, then click at the center of the circle and rotate it. It's perfectly bending, right? Let's check out the right hand layers. Since I have named them properly, it will be easy for us to animate in the After Effects. As you can see, the right hand fingers are also designed similar to the left hand, especially the thumb finger. At last, I have the finger one layer at the top. Let's visible all the layers. I kept this fingertip because when the hand is in the holding position, the fingertip will fold like this, right? That's it. Let's jump into the After Effects and start animating this. Here we are inside the After Effects. Let's quickly import the design file. Go to File, Import, File and select the design file. Ensure to retain layer size is selected and then click on the import. As we imported, the file will be in the project panel. Let's double click on the composition to open it in the timeline and the composition panel. First, let's quickly differentiate the right and the left hand layers by changing their layer label colors. That's it. So we have perfectly differentiated the layers. Let's hide the right finger one layer for a moment. So the next we will parent the layers. As you can see, these are the arm parts we are going to link. Let's quickly link the lower thumb to the upper thumb, then the upper thumb to the finger, and finally the finger to the hand. Let's select the hand layer and move it around. All the linked layers will follow the same. Likewise, let's do the same for the left hand layers. Quickly hide the right hand layers to avoid the confusion. Select the upper thumb layer and parent to the lower thumb. Then parent the lower thumb to the finger. Then parent the finger to the hand. As we move the hand layer, other parts of the hand will follow as we linked. Finally, we have the right fingertip layer at the top here. So this has to be connected to the right hand as it moves. Let's select the fingertip layer and parent and link to the right finger layer. As we move the hand, it will follow. But for now, let's hide it from the composition and lock the layer. That's it. Parenting is done. Next, we are going to position the anchor points. So in this scenario, we would only need to place the anchor point for the thumb layers. Let's quickly hide the left hand layers and zoom into the thumb area. Let's select the upper and the lower thumb layers and press T on the keyboard to open the opacity properties and reduce them a bit like this. It's now simple to find the anchor points placement. Let's select the upper thumb and position the anchor point to right here. Let's press R to open the rotation properties and adjust the value. It needs to be placed a little precisely. Let's move it here almost in the center of the circle and check the rotation. This is perfect. Let's place an anchor point for the lower thumb. So we can also solo the layer and freely position the anchor point. I'm going to place it right here in the middle. Let's remove the solo layer, open the rotation properties and see if this works perfectly. So we have successfully positioned the anchor point for this hand. Let's bring back the opacity value to 100. Except for the thumb, we no need to position the anchor point for any other parts of the hand. Let's position the anchor point for the left hand thumb layers as well. That's it. Once you have positioned the anchor point, make sure to select the selection tool. So we have successfully completed the parenting and the anchor point positioning steps. Now it's time to start the animation part. However, before we begin, I want to create a null object layer to control the hand properties. You will understand the advantage of creating this. Let's right click on the composition, go to new and click on the null object. Quickly create one more null object for the two hands. Let's quickly name the layers. I'm going to call this right hand controller and the other one left hand controller. Let's select both null layers and position them at the center of the middle palm area. As we know, all the fingers are parented to the right and the left hand layers, right? So what I'm going to do is parent the hand to the null controller layers. Let's select the left hand and parent to the left hand controller. Likewise, select the right hand and parent to the right hand controller. That's it, perfect. Now let's select both the controller layer. Just place the timeline indicator here. Then open the rotation properties. As you can see, the entire hand is rotating based on the anchor point placed in the middle palm. We will use this controller while doing the handshaking animation, but for now, let's lock the layers. Let's start the animation now. Quickly place the timeline indicator at the end of the first second and select both the right and the left hand layers. Press P to reveal the position properties and create a keyframe. Now let's go to the first frame and position the hand backwards as it's coming from outside the composition screen. As you can see, it's coming nicely to the handshaking position. Let's make it slowly by bringing the keyframes forward a bit. This should be perfect now. Next, I'm going to animate the thumb fingers on both hands. Let's start from the right hand thumb. Keep the timeline indicator here, then select the layers and press R to open the rotation properties and create a keyframe. Then move forward around 5 frames from here and adjust the rotation value to position the thumb like this. As it's going to hold the hands, the thumb finger is raising a bit like this. Now let's move forward a couple of frames after the holding position. Now bring the thumb position down, or we can copy the first keyframe and paste it here by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Quickly adjust the keyframes to have the same timing. Let's select the keyframes and press F9 to apply easy ease. Play now and see the outcome. This is perfect. Let's do the same for the left hand thumb as well. Keep the timeline indicator here. Quickly minimize the hand properties and select the thumb layers. Press R to open the rotation properties and create a keyframe. Let's place the timeline indicator where the next keyframes are placed for the right hand thumb. Now adjust the rotation to position the thumb up like this. That's it. Let's move on to here and copy the first keyframe and paste it here for both the upper and the lower thumb. Quickly select the keyframes and apply easy ease. Both the thumb fingers are animating nicely. Let's minimize the properties and then select the hand layers. Press U to reveal the keyframes. As the hand comes to the holding position, both the hand fingers have to be in the folding position. Keep the timeline indicator right here. Now let's select the right and the left finger layers. Right click, go to create and then click on create shapes from vector layers. Now we have created the finger shape layer. At the bottom of the shape layer, the original layer is still visible in the timeline panel. Let's select both layers, enable the shy icon and then click right here to hide all the shy layers. Let's minimize the hand properties and then select the finger layer. Go to the timeline search bar and type path. All the path properties now appear under the layer properties. Let's create a keyframe for all of the path properties by clicking and dragging like this. Let's press U to reveal only the keyframes. Let's quickly reveal one of the hand keyframes to ensure the path keyframes align correctly. Let's zoom in onto the timeline a bit like this. Now I will advance the timeline by half a second and position the timeline indicator here. Let's start with the left finger. Select the keyframe to enable the path point and zoom into the finger area. Let's select the fingertip point and move it right here. And then adjust the path handle to shape the finger as it folds in this way. Quickly repeat these steps for the remaining fingers. Now the positioning is flawless with the fingers neatly folded. So these are the path keyframes properties that are used. Either we can create a dummy keyframe here to keep those, or directly click right here to remove the keyframes. That's it. Let's select the layer and press U to reveal all the keyframe properties alone. Now select the right hand finger keyframe and bring the tip of the finger point to right here. Let's quickly position all of the fingertip points here for a moment. Later we can adjust it if needed. Now let the finger 1 layer be visible and adjust the pinky finger. I think it's too tight in the folding position. Let's bring the fingertip point here, unlock the finger 1 layer and place it here. Let's quickly convert this to shape layer and hide the original layer from the timeline panel. From this point on, the shape of the finger changes. Let's place it perfectly. Now select the layer and go to the timeline search bar, type path to bring the path properties and create a keyframe for all of the path properties. Now select the layer and press U to reveal the keyframes. Also select the finger layer and press U to reveal the keyframes. Move back on the timeline to here and create a keyframe. Actually, we have revealed the right finger keyframes. So this is where the shape is transforming to a holding position, right? Let's select the keyframe to enable the path points. Now just double click on the points to select the connected path points. Scale down the shape like this. Bring it here to place it on top of the tip area, right here. Now as you can see, it's nicely transforming to the folding position, which is beautiful, right? It's also coming from the beginning of the timeline. Let's crop the layer to start from here. That's it. The transition is perfectly synced with the timing. Let's play and see how the animation comes out. Just look at the pinky finger as it's getting folded perfect. Now it will be easy for the other fingers. Let's select this finger, press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Then position it on top of the next finger like this. Here we use the path properties to create this transition, but we have not used the position properties to transform the shape, right? Therefore the functionality would remain unchanged if we were to duplicate it. As you can see, it's perfectly syncing for the ring finger as well. Let's duplicate the finger again and place it on the middle finger. Now check the transition and see how it's coming out. If it is not syncing, then just adjust the position slightly to make it perfect. Let's quickly duplicate the finger and place it on top of the index finger. This has to be on back side of the middle finger. Let's reorder the layer by bringing the index finger down, placing the middle finger on top of it, and then place the ring finger on top of it. Next position the pinky finger above the finger layers. As you can see, the index finger is not syncing with the transition since it's a little down in the position or short in the height. This is very simple to fix. Let's select the index finger layer, press U to reveal the keyframes and click on the keyframe to enable the path point. Now choose the shape and place it on top of the index fingertip. Now observe how the shape emerges and make necessary adjustment to the shape and position to ensure flawless transition. As you can see now, all of the fingers fold smoothly during the transition. Let's look at the overall animation and how it's progressing. Let's press U to reveal the keyframe. Select all the keyframes and press F9 to apply easy ease. That's it. Let's press U again to hide all the keyframes. Let's check out the animation and see how it's coming out now. It's coming out really much better and I hope you understand the process. Let's move on to the next step. Now we have to animate the hand shaking movement. For the shaking hand, we are going to use the controller that we have created at the beginning. Let's select both of the hand controller layers, then place the timeline indicator where the fingers are getting folded. As I select the layers, press P to open the position properties and create a keyframe. From here, I'm going to move half a second forward and place the timeline indicator here. Let's bring the Y position upwards like this. Now again move on to the half a second forward and bring the Y position to downwards like that. So in the previous keyframe it is positioned in the upper and in the next keyframe it is positioned in the lower. Now I am moving forward to the next half a second and bringing the Y position to the upper position. Or we can copy the previous higher position keyframes and paste them here. So this is where the hands are in the higher position. So select the keyframes and copy the keyframe and move on to here, select the keyframe and press Ctrl V to paste it here. Likewise copy and paste for the right hand controller layer as well. So here hands are in the higher position. Then in the next keyframe hands are in the lower position. Then again hands are going back to the higher position, right? Let's select the keyframes and apply easy ease. Let's play and see how it's coming out. It's coming nicely but it's shaking too much, right? Let's go to the lower keyframe, select both layers and bring them to a little upward position. I believe this creates a pleasing swagging effect. Now let's place the timeline indicator where the hands are in the higher position. Select both the layers and press R to open the rotation properties and create a keyframe. Now press U to reveal all the keyframes. As the hands are in the upper position, let's change the rotation of the left hand to around -6 and for the right hand let's change the rotation to +6. As you can see, the left hand fingers are overlapping and not in the proper position. No worries, we will fix this later. Let's move on to the next keyframe. I think let's create a keyframe here since the hands are in the upper position. Otherwise we will have to copy and paste the keyframes again. Okay, let's now return to the lower position of the hands. Now change the rotation value to 0. Quickly select the keyframes and apply easy ease. As you can see, it looks like a shaking hand movement, right? So here the rotation values are in the -6 and +6. Let's go to the first keyframe position and change the rotation value to -2 and +2 in order to create a slight difference to make the dynamic motion. Once again I am going to select all the keyframes and press F9. It nicely folded the hands and started shaking as we applied the position and rotation movement for the controller layers. But look at what is happening here. The fingers are moved inside and not in the proper position, right? Let's fix that now. Select the left finger layer and press U to reveal the keyframes. Let's move on to place the timeline indicator right here where we change the rotation value to -6 and +6. Now simply create a keyframe for all the path that appears here. Now select any of the keyframes to enable the path point. Then select each finger point like this and bring it to here. Just adjust the finger shapes to folding the hand position. As you can see, it's nicely transforming from here to here. Now let's move on to where the hands are in the down position. We can use the previous shapes. So let's copy the keyframes and paste them here. Let's change the screen ratio to fit and see how the fingers are transforming from the higher to the lower position. It's perfect. Fingers are not moving inside and the transition is happening smoothly. Let's go to the last keyframe where again the hands are going to move to the higher position. So we can copy the previous higher keyframes and paste them here. As you can see, between these three keyframes where the hands are moving from higher to a lower position and then from a lower to a higher position. This is perfect. Now I can repeat these keyframes in order to make the hand shaking. Let's copy and paste these keyframes. Also repeat the keyframe for the left fingers layer as well. Now check out the animation how it's coming out. Why it's not positioning here? Yeah, we haven't repeated the keyframe for the right hand controller. Let's place the timeline indicator here and copy the keyframes and paste them here. Now it's coming nicely. Let's shake it 2 more times. Select the keyframes until here, not the first one. From the first to the second keyframes, hands are moving to the higher position. So we loop the position from the higher to lower and then the higher in order to shake the hand. That's why I'm going to select the keyframes until here, copy them and paste it here. That's it. Let's zoom out the timeline panel and crop the work area to till here. Let's quickly minimize all the properties. Let's play and see how the handshaking animation is coming out. I hope you enjoyed learning this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, make sure to click on the like button. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.